Alright, fans of music, it's Dave here, ditching the intro on this video, the normal intro, because I cannot believe that Pat Benatar is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I may have already done a video about this subject, maybe last year, I'm not sure, maybe even the year before that, but I was just listening to some music, and you know, I was an early Pat Benatar adopter, okay? Early adopter on the very first album, In the Heat of the Night, which features both We Live for Love and Heartbreaker. Heartbreaker being the overplayed song you hear on classic rock stations, 80s stations, mixed stations. Great song. However, again, we've been focus tested to death, and some of us can handle maybe hearing something off of Precious Time. How would you like to hear the title track to Precious Time? Or Fire and Ice, which was a huge song when it came out. There are a number of great songs on that album that are MIA. Crimes of Passion. When's the last time you've heard Hell is for Children? Especially with all of this human trafficking going on. I know that was more of a child abuse song, but there is certainly a correlation between the subject matter there and what is going on these days. Folks, the first 4 Pat Benatar albums get you into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They just do. They are that good. If you look at the 4 albums in question here, In the Heat of the Night, Crimes of Passion, Precious Time, and Get Nervous, those 4 albums get you in. And the amount of great music on these albums, typically albums when they came out, when I first started buying albums, had 2 or maybe 3 good songs on them. All right, let's just be honest. There are a lot of artists that put a lot of time and effort into 1 or 2 singles and didn't have too much to offer except filler for 8 songs or 7 songs. In those days, albums were typically 10 tracks or 9 tracks or even 8 tracks in some cases. As time has gone on, people want more music, or artists feel they can throw out more music like 11 or 12 tracks on a CD because, well, you can fit quite a bit of music on a CD. And, you know, you have to do more these days to get people's attention. Back in those days, you had 1 or 2 really good songs, and you were off to the races. With Pat Benatar, though, there's so much music. Even after those 4 albums, you've got stuff like Invincible and We Belong, which, again, is a huge song. And yes, I hear We Belong on the radio now and then. It's still being played. Basically, you hear Heartbreaker, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, which, you know what, I could probably do without Hit Me With Your Best Shot. And I think Pat would agree with me, all right? But I get it. It's, again, it's like the Don't Stop Believin' thing. It's supposedly her signature song, but there's so much music. The comeback album, Wide Awake in Dreamland, All Fired Up. Now that's a song. Then Pat did a blues album, all right? She did a B.B. King song, which I used to play quite a bit on the rock station when it came out. And by the way, a serviceable, realistic blues album with husband Neil Giraldo, who also should be in the Hall of Fame with Pat Benatar. But the question, okay, the question just, I'm asking it, it's going out into the void of, you know, cyberspace, whatever. Why isn't Pat Benatar in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And this goes to an organization, by the way, that seems to go out of its way to cater toward obscurity, looking at things that nobody else has looked at and says, oh yeah, this is worthy. But here we are again, a huge fan base. And by the way, if you like Journey or Styx or Foreigner, you like Pat Benatar. Most of those people like Pat Benatar, and, you know, maybe a few others. And if you watch the documentary on Pat Benatar, even that sort of simple one on VH1, how many other female musicians has Pat Benatar influenced? It's mind-boggling. And the fact that she's not in the Hall of Fame might speak to something else that's going on with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and some sort of prejudice. Something's happening. Look, was Pat Benatar commercial? Did she have success? Oh, yeah. But with that voice and with those songs and that quality of songwriting and album after album, I mean, she could have had a sophomore slump, okay? That first album set the stage for the second album, which was, I mean, Crimes of Passion is just brilliant. It's start to finish. I mean, I'm not sure what these folks are looking for as far as what they want to put in the Hall of Fame. Now, has she been nominated? I don't even know if she's been nominated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I can't think of any other female artists. You know, you could put Heart in there. They've already been inducted, okay? So, but I'm sorry, it's not a big list of artists that I can think of that are female that should be in there that aren't in there. Pat Benatar has to be at the top of whatever list you make, folks. So anyway, as you can tell, I'm whining a bit, and I'm just a little bit fed up with what is currently being nominated for the Hall of Fame. I mean, you leave Pat Benatar off of this list, and it's criminal. It's just something that just shouldn't happen. By the way, Pat Benatar, another artist who hits the 1990s and hits the brick wall. Okay, she didn't even really go over to adult contemporary like a lot of female artists like Bonnie Raitt and some of these country gals who went over there. Faith Hill, I mean, just found a home. You think Pat Benatar would have found a home over on AC Radio. She really didn't. I know she came out with more stuff that was met with critical praise and so forth, but got really virtually no airplay, and thus ending her run of great chart success. I tell you, there was something that happened in the 90s, and it went even beyond grunge, and I'm still trying to grapple with that right now. But the crux of this video, Pat Benatar has to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and if she's not nominated next year, I'm gonna flip out on the Hall of Fame. I'm just warning the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna start talking and saying things and putting those things in videos, and you're gonna, I'm sure, hear about it eventually. All right, I'm done with this one. I'll be back soon with more. Stay tuned for those.